Hey, Tommy, this is Ian Dalvin. My phone number is 914-486-2523. If you can give me a call back, that'd be awesome. Thank you. I look forward to talking to you. Bye-bye.
10,000s. Danny, not as often as you might imagine. I've banged myself into it, but I haven't launched a guitar into it yet. Yes, it is thick. I don't know if you guys can see this, but when I take finish off when I'm cutting a bridge in,
it's pretty tempting to come around here and just kind of start hacking away at it with the chisel. But I find if I come back over the outline and I angle my blade this way towards the handle away from the cut, it actually starts to lift this side just a little bit, and it really reinforces the idea that you're not going to wind up getting the finish to lift off on the on the back side of it. So the other thing too is you want to be pretty careful. You don't want to cut that. I see a lot of bridges that are cut in where they'll actually cut into the spruce. And it makes it weak as shit, and really likely that you're going to pull up the bridge with the end grain pulling up or the run out pulling up. You're basically making your own run out when you cut into the spruce there. Oh shit! Seems to be a little thinner over on this side. Tell you one thing, Looth. If you're gonna put 9 thousandths of finish on there, you got to cut that bridge in, or it's gonna come off. Danny, you still loosening? You got your home shop going? That's the way to do it, Danny. To prevent that finish edge, I mean, boy, beyond cutting in the bridges just like I'm doing right here. But I mean, can you imagine doing that in a factory? I mean, fuck, man, teaching guys in a factory how to keep a chisel sharp. Come on. Yeah, business is slow. It's gonna be interesting to see what goes on, man. Wonder if people are gonna start playing a lot more guitar and start noticing some of the foibles in their whips. We'll see. Might pick back up after this is going. So Danny, are you tackling any capital improvements in your shop? Are you taking the time with business being slow to kind of spruce up your work environment at all? What factory did you work in? Were you Taylor? I can't remember. Were you Santa Cruz? Collins and Deering. That's right, man. So you gotten around too. How did you like factory work again? I feel like I probably asked you this at Dan's thing. Yeah, I did some capital improvements here. I share my basement with the cat shitter, so I put the cat shitter in the bathroom downstairs and put a pet door on the bathroom, so I wasn't huffing cat turd fumes every time they use the litter box. So I'm definitely taking the time to get things dialed in down here. I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen one of these before. I make these calls all thread, and then I actually tap the MDF. So I've only got one net on this side. Key to tapping MDF is to saturate the MDF with CA, thin CA, and then it taps pretty nicely. I mean, if I really reefed on that, I'd pull the threads through for sure. But it's good enough for a bridge clamping call. Repair has always been your goal. Yeah, you know what? It has been for me too. Like I definitely am a better repair guy for having spent time in the guitar factory. But like even just thinking about building for myself, like it always gets back into that factory mode, which I enjoyed while I was doing it, but just because I don't know, so many fucking guitars out there already anyway. Danny, you're home shopping, right? You're working out of your house. I mix my hide glue by eye, but the recommended for the glue that I've got, I think, is one to 1.4 or something like that. And I'm probably pretty close to it. I'll give you a little demo of how I do it. And if I get it, I'm looking for a consistency in the pot. So if I am not at the consistency I like, I either just add a little bit more water, add a little bit more glue. But like I used to weigh it, and I used to measure it out by volume and all that kind of stuff. But I just find that I don't know, probably just got lazy or something. Or I've worked with it enough to where I kind of know what I'm looking for. Here's some floppy dog's butt. How do you like that arrangement with having a bunch of different artists and stuff? That always sounded like fun. As you can tell by being on the internet here, I'm prone to gabbing, so I would be afraid that I'd always wind up either maybe making an ass of myself with other people, asking them, "Hey, what you doing?" or just gabbing the day away. Yeah, imagine. David, you online? You want that? All right, Danny. You still there? Show you my mixing technique. Get the amount of water that you want. I find that I want to mix it in pretty slow. Shake it around. This is cold, by the way. Shake it around and make sure that you're getting all that glue is getting good surface area contact to the water there. What I want to see, kind of sprinkle it in until it's just basically just a little bit of the water showing on the top. Just a fudge. And then let that sit for a little bit. Yeah, I'll tell you the hide glue definitely is. It's. I mean, if you can work with it, if you got good protocols for working with it, the thicker it is, the I mean, just the better it works. In my opinion. The other thing too is I don't stick it in the refrigerator and reheat it. My glue is heated once. Um, I just I got off that putting it in the refrigerator train. I had some issues. I'm not sure if I traced it back to that or what, but yeah, fresh 192 gram strength stuff every time. I don't mix up that much. Like this will be around. I also don't like mix it up and then keep it hot all day. Like this is going to be for this job and then it's going to get thrown away. And then later on, I mean, if I had two jobs back to back, I'd probably use the same glue, but not. No, heated once. Like I said, if I got 2 projects back to back that I can use the same glue on, that's fine, but if it's heated for more than, an hour, I'm done with it. Um, that's like if, like if I'm doing a neck or a bridge or something, but that's pretty much all I use it for. So I really like it for bridges, but boy, you gotta give yourself all the breaks you can when you're gluing a steel string acoustic guitar bridge on with high glue. Um, and one of those things is to reduce variables by having glue that's been in the pot all day. Like I just think it loses its holding strength when it's been hanging out in the pot all day. Now, if I was doing, like glue and braces or something like that, you know, I think those are different forces acting on the braces. I'd probably still be tempted to have the braces be glued up with fresh glue every time. I could be wrong about all that too. It could be, you know, being superstitious or whatever. I'm not familiar with that word, Donnie. What is stituous? Stituous. Is that a real word or is that a spelling? Did you get spell checked into something? Uh, stituous. I'll tell you one thing that's I'm doing now when I do hide glue bridge reglues is I throw the bridge in the microwave for about 30, maybe 20 seconds, something like that, 20, 25 seconds. Man, it comes out piping hot and ready to keep that glue heat going. It's pretty nice too because there's something about that microwave heat, like it really like gets deep in the bridge pretty quick. And I used to like stick the bridge on the hot plate. Some people will throw it like on this to get it warmed up. Some people use the heat gun, but boy, the microwave, it's like that deep down heat that takes a long time to go away, and it doesn't like cook the oils out of the rosewood like you can do if you get it too hot with like a heat lamp or uh, heat gun or something. I'm sure if you leave it in longer, you can definitely get it hot enough to cook the oils out. Hot popcorn button. There you go. see that. This good doing making wing calls. So Paul, all those the live stream I did yesterday, it got flagged immediately for copyright infringement with all my hip hops and whatnot. I'm surprised that they busted me for the Herb Ellis and Joe Pass too. You'd think that would be public domain by now, but apparently not. Yeah. No, that was just this thing. Yeah, it was just taped to this thing as a riser for when I wasn't using a block. No, interestingly, I didn't get any notification for Nelly. It was Jay-Z, Big Pimpin', and or pardon me, Big Pimpin', and it was the Herb Ellis and Joe Pass were the ones that I got busted for. They didn't mention old Nellard at all. Any of that. So what you're seeing here is the fabled dry clamp. I didn't do the dry clamps a lot when I was a young fella. Nelly is for the people, absolutely. I tell you, I got apparently I listened to so much Nelly that I was all about country grammar for a little bit, and then Spotify notified me that I was in the top 1% of Nelly fans worldwide. It made me a little sad for Nelly to think about that. I'll tell you one thing: Country Grammar is a fucking outstanding album. top 1% for Beastie Boys. Now, I would probably be in the top percent for Beastie Boys, and we all know a lot of people like the Beastie Boys. They got more staying power than Nelly, I think. But yeah, boy, I love the Beastie Boys when I was a young fella. Still kind of like them, and I'll throw them on. They didn't really. I don't think they really. I don't think they crossed that generational divide, though. I don't think the young kids are as into the Beastie Boys as my generation was. It's funny what doesn't make the cut for the next generation. I think it's funny that Friends is the young kids love Friends. It, I mean, it was a fine show. It surprised me because as a young Gen Xer, like I mean, it took me a while to come around to Friends. Let me just put it that way. It was not cynical enough for me. BC Boys made it to the millennials. All right, all right. I was going to ask you what is what is that the Midwest hip hop? What do they call that again? I know about the Dirty South and your crunks and your whatnot, but what was the Midwest contribution to hip hop? What did they call that? What is that St. Louis stuff called? Or what was it called back in the day? Midwest hip hop. It didn't even get its own name. Oh man, that's some fucking cold, man. Pete, I have not had any pimp juice energy drink. What would you recommend it? Paul, how does Dan glue bridges on? Does he make calls or anything? Does he make inside calls, or is it just all kind of gerrymandering the clamps around on the inside to get it right? Yeah, Danny Paul's using his Pornhub name, Donnie Womps. I think it'd be better as Donnie Womps a lot. Corey, what was the exciting bit you wanted? You missed? You missed the cut in the thing. It'll be up there. I don't know if you can go backwards on this yet, but it's on there. See my tongue sticking out the side of my mouth. Oh, the removal? Uh, yeah, that actually went pretty not very exciting on that, but you can. I have a tip on my YouTube channel about how I mask off. I use the heat lamp now. I got a tip on how to mask off in my videos thing. So that was the thing Steve Henderson did whenever when I was working at Breedlove. A lot of guys around there would build their own guitars or whatever, and Breedlove had that kind of crazy looking bridge, and so guys wanting to impress Steve would always make these crazy looking bridges, and every time they'd bring him one, he'd always do the same thing. He'd look at it for a second, and he'd go like that. The guy was funny. No, so you did miss a pretty good part, Corey, where um, I made this. Made this call. And basically, what this is this is all thread and MDF, a little bit of wax paper and double sided tape here. And so I tapped the MDF for this. I think it's what 1032 all thread, and then the the good tip on tapping MDF is you just saturate it with CA while you're tap it a little bit, saturate it with CA, tap it a little bit, and then you get this nice, semi firm, definitely enough to take a, take a nut. Um, so what you saw sticking up there was these all thread things. Maybe I'll do a video on this later on. But this is how I do just about every bridge glue I do with hide glue. I do one of these because it's faster than trying to get it into place, and have all your clamps going. I get really good. I get pretty good tension or glue down pressure with this like immediately, and then I can dick off with the clamps and getting all that shit into place pretty good. But at least the glue is in place and going. Do I ever sand a radius into the call? Do you mean like if I was doing like a Martin bridge and I was trying to get pressure up into the curve? Um, sometimes on them in the old days, I'd actually just have it flat and go from the transition to the tip and put pressure on there. Have it vacant in here, but basically it was putting really hardcore pressure on the very tip of the bridge, especially if I was having a problem with like an older bridge that was kind of sprung. Some of those vintage Martin bridges where they've for the belly. Oh yeah, I mean, like I almost never like if I have something, if this needed more pressure, like I really don't like to use a lot of pressure when I'm clamping bridges on. Like I find if I'm doing that, like maybe I want to put a radius, put a radius into the bridge so that it's actually laying down there pretty good. But once you start having to work really hard to get the bridge down. Um, it's you know, might look at something else, but the other thing I do is instead of like, if I was going to do something and I had like a crazy shape, I'd probably be more inclined instead of carving a nice call for it, I'd be more inclined to grab some foam and do a regular block and have some of that rigid foam that would pick up the slack, like this foam insulation stuff. If you make a call with this stuff, like if I was to put this on, this call on here and then clamp the shit out of it, this stuff is so rigid that it's going to conform to everything and give it really nice pressure without going to all the trouble of having to carve a crazy call. That's pretty good. It's maybe just a skosh thin. I might add just a little bit more to that. Not much. Danny, you do a lot of high glue bridge glues. Yeah, man, I'll get the swamp ass going on it. Nice thing about it about high glue is if if you failed, like if you missed it and it gelled before you got the bridge down, like as soon as you put string tension on it, it'll fail right away. And then you just pop the bridge will be super easy to pop. You just pop it off, wet it down, give it the next try. It's very forgiving that way. All right, I'm gonna step away for a little bit and microwave this bridge, and then I'll be back. Oh shit, I got quiet. Anybody time that? You know, I moved away from refrigerating mine, Daniel. I just think there's something about it. I don't know. You can go back through this and check out how I sift the glue into it, but I think a lot of the times, I was brought up refrigerating it and then using it. And I think what a lot of times they were trying to do is get the air bubbles out of it by refrigerating and bring it back up to temperature. But I don't know. I had a lot of glue joints fail that I'm not sure if it was user error or if it was that, but uh, or if it was cooling it and heating it back up. But since I've gone to just going with it hot, one heating, um, it, I've had a lot less trouble. Less than 5 minutes, boy. If it's less than 5 minutes, I'm talking about once the clamps are on. Hey, Danny, have a good one, man. Daniel Bergen, did that answer your question? Yeah, Harpo, that foam does come from Home Depot. That's just that insulating, and they got handy panel sizes of it too, so you don't have to buy the whole sheet of the stuff. But yeah, I use different densities of foam and rubber and everything for different clamping scenarios. I'm too lazy to make custom fitted calls for every occasion. I find that just a little bit of foam will tighten a lot of things up and get you the clamping pressure you're looking for pretty quickly. Oh, Daniel, that's good news, man. It's funny. I started making those because I really failed at a lot of my first hide glue bridge glues, and I felt like it was the fastest thing I could come up with to get things in place and kind of registered and stuff. Um, and then recently, the guy I worked for in New Jersey, he got into what Carlo Greco's estate somehow, and got a bunch of old guild tools out, and there was basically a very very nice machined version of that same thing uh, that you know basically guild went about it the same way they sandwiched the did that sandwich for the bridge plate. As far as I know, hide glue will last indefinitely in the bag. So this stuff is from Bjorn Industries. I really like their glue. Uh, in my experience, boy, I've gotten stuff from different companies, and even same gram strength and everything. It smells differently. It works differently. The open times a little differently. So everything I've gotten from Bjorn has been uh, real consistent. It smells the best of all the high glues too. This stuff for some reason it smells like a barbecue grill that's seen a lot of hamburgers, and you're just firing it up for the first time in summer. It doesn't have that real kind of nasty high glue smell. And it'll get nasty if you leave it around for sure. James, you could smell that from there. I'm sure. I'm sure there must be some smells going on in Singapore that can explain that. Corey, any fitting? What is what's all that then? I think you're smelling fish sauce, James. Speaking of which, how are you doing with the food over there anyway? Corey, no, that bridge actually fit pretty well after it was taken off. I was surprised because of how spindly those wings are. But the Asia Light, that's funny. Harpo, that this Manzerna, get you some of that. I can't say enough about this. This stuff is so rowdy and yet it leaves it so shiny. I don't know what's going on in here. I don't know if it's got like breakdown compounds or something where it kind of starts out at one grit but finishes off at a finer grit. But this stuff is pretty miraculous stuff in the old repair shop. Um, both both of these. I don't know if they might sell them under different names, but yeah, it's when you can't apply it to a buffer, this stuff is pretty tight. Now I'm back. Of course, a medium, yeah. This said 1,000 and 1,500. James, I'll be dipping out here and there. I'm working all day, so I might dip out dip out to the shitter here and there, but and then I'll be back in Luthen. Hey Daniel, thanks for the nice words, man. Oh James, that bridge is on now. But you know what? I'm gonna post this. I'm gonna post this live stream because I didn't put the hip hops in there, so I won't get hit for the copyright. But it'll be in there. Daniel, thanks for the nice words and have a good day, man. So James, you can't like dial back in the stream. Sometimes when I watch gamers, I'm able to do that. Well, I guess you know what? It's going to start from where you started buffering from. I would imagine. Yeah. That's some L-shaped dish lids. James, what's the guitar scene like there in Singapore, man? Are people? I mean, are they that far behind culturally that they're just now getting excited about guitars, or tons of collectors? So that's all kind of status symbol stuff there. Animal Crossing stream. I haven't played that. Is that any fun? I might upload some Daisy videos. I'm not sure yet. I'm more Daisy is more my speed than Animal Crossing, I think. So Singapore is a big Christian nation. Then Breedlove was getting there when we were getting our guitars built at crafters in Korea. They actually had a church right there in the guitar factory. Like going to church was part of your day as a guitar builder at crafter there. So as a Westerner, do you have like crazy guitar cred there? Do they just like are they just like, oh my god, here's this Western guy, he must know everything there is to know about guitars? Man, I'm moving there. Give me a job. I want to go somewhere where I don't have to struggle for street cred. Ah. So if you guys are squeamish to see spit, you may want to avert your eyes here pretty soon. I like to, especially on these old high glue bridges, I like to get some spit underneath the under the bridge as I'm working. Uh, Helps break down the hide glue, and it's better than water in that it's got it's thicker, so it's not going to like work its way underneath the finish and give you weird finish issues like water would. No, Diet Pepsi. I think Coke would probably give you a better loogie. And I'm getting hopped up on Diet Pepsi these days, though. I gotta get one of those infrared thermometers, man. Playing with what thing, James? Animal Crossing? Oh yeah. I'm removing it prior to taking the bridge off. There might be a new saddle involved in this. I don't know yet. It's fit a little funky. Um, but it's also like most of the way out too. Like it came in kind of already kind of like half in, half out. I gotta say, there's something about having this live stream going that's keeping me on my game, man. I feel like you guys are watching. I'm like really trying to bring my A game like I haven't brought in a while. It's kind of nice. So James, yeah, they're glued in on some of the old Gibsons. What's the coronavirus protocols like in Singapore with guitars? Are you guys just freeballing it, or you doing some stuff? officially shut down. So they're getting pretty serious about it then. So what's that doing to your pay situation and your rent and all that? June 1st. Oh, good. Yeah, like I'm finding the break is, oh man, it's I'm decompressing from a lot of stuff. Like it's giving me the opportunity, like that grass rebind. It's giving me the opportunity to just kind of plink away at it rather than try to tackle it all at once. So that's been nice. Just kind of do it when I feel like it. So there's been a little bit of decompression going on with this whole thing. It's not quite a vacation, but staycation or whatever. You built 4 instruments in a week. Holy moly! Shit, yeah, man. Yeah, I use this, and you can get something like this off of Harpo. This is for you. You can get this off of Amazon. This one came at a yard sale, but this is a cake decorating knife, and I put just a very very almost not even like a sharpening edge, more like a bevel, just so that I'm hesitant to like put a real edge on there because I don't want to actually cut anything. But I definitely, when I'm taking off bridges or fingerboard extensions, I like it to insinuate, you know, a plane there. Like it's going, like we're definitely dealing with this plane, and it's not going to mistake it for the top plane as I'm going in. So just a very very, I don't know if you can see that. It's probably not going to focus on it, but just very kind of light grooming of the edge there. So, um, but the nice thing about this is almost all guitars you can think of, this is long enough to where the handle is going to be off of it's going to be off of the guitar, no matter where I'm at on it, and so I can really get back and get flat and still have a handle, to grab onto if I need to put a little pressure on it. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, James. Uh, I'm always looking at run out and grain orientation. And like one of the biggest mistakes you can do when you're young Luther is just to, if it's got a gap at the back, you just go, oh great, I'll just work the gap at the back. I mean, if it's I mean, that's a real recipe for, if that gap is happening because the run out is failing. Uh, I mean, you're basically just going to bury your palette knife in the wood. So I almost always, if it's lifting on the back side substantially, and I look in there and I see a lot of grain fur, I immediately go to the other side of the bridge, to saddle under the bridge, saddle side of the bridge, and start working it from that direction. Um, of course, it's a pain in the ass because it's usually fresh glue up there. Yeah, I go sideways, especially on the wings. I don't know if you saw that, but what's underestimated in taking bridges off is paying attention to your ears too. Like if you start hearing the little splintering noise, it's pretty good indication you're digging up wood. So I don't know. Let's see here. So I'm working that like this. Coming around from the edge. Coming around from the front. This is a little bit trickier because this pick guard is popped up here. This customer is not going to. I'm looking into the grain. Yes. So if it's dark, you're looking into the run out. Another thing that you can do too is when I'm getting the knife in here, especially in either way, if I'm looking in the bridge pin holes, like you can tell if you're diving in here. Like as soon as I look in this hole and I see like, am I seeing only rosewood of the bridge, or am I seeing a layer of spruce and then rosewood of the bridge? You get a lot of information in these bridge pin holes as you're taking the bridge off as well. The other thing, I just pulled this knife out, and it's cool to the touch. So it's telling me that I've lost the heat that I put on there. So I'm going to start heating it again. Take care, Pete. Yeah, super solvent might work. Are you talking about like a K and K? A lot of times I just take a razor blade, get inside, and then just put it between the pickup and the bridge plate and hope for the best. I've never had that actually go sideways on me, although I imagine it could. Yes, there is. I think Frank Ford has that information on frets.net too. Look up frets.net, the run out. He's got like an old flip top guitar where the run out's going both ways to kind of give the indication of it. Huh. Yeah, I looked at that guild. How did that thing make it all the way over to Singapore, I wonder? Yeah. Is that a 70s guild? Hmm. A Death Dog is a friend of mine's hot dog uh, business in Oregon. He bought an old hearse and he's outfitted it to sell hot dogs out of it. James, the guy that I did my apprenticeship with was a court dealer, and we all liked the courts pretty good. They were like way ahead of their time for manufacturing standards from Asia. That was in the 90s. I don't know if they quit. It was already lifting. Yeah. No, this is just a bridge reglue. Actually, this guitar was gifted to a say some kind of orchestra around here, and they don't have it in the budget to do everything. It needs a neck reset and the whole 9 yards. And it was one that Alan Watsky took in, and they just basically have the money for a bridge reglue, and that's it. So I'm just doing the bridge reglue. I mean, the fact that the pickguard needs to be reglued is driving me crazy because it's obfuscating the knife from getting underneath the bridge. Be right back. Harpo, are you still on there? Who are you? Do I know you from Instagram? I haven't seen any of the new Gibson acoustics. I've seen a couple of the electrics since they have quote unquote turned over a new leaf, and it looks like the same leaf in the same position. No, I shouldn't say that. A little bit better, slightly better. One thing I have heard though is they've cut the price on them pretty good. Like I think I don't know, like isn't isn't like a Les Paul going for like like around 2 grand now rather than the 4 grand that they were getting? I mean, thing is if they look the same and they're you know a reasonable price, then I mean whatever. That's kind of cool. Hope it kind of hoses the market for people who bought guitars, several years ago. Yeah, I don't know. That's not such a bad price. If the truss rods work, dealt with a mess of them where the truss rods were dragging the anchor through the neck. James, was it the thing where it was dragging the anchor through the neck? Corey, that's funny. So, how did he feel about that? Did he renounce his membership to Team Gibson? Yeah. So, James, what happens on a lot of those old guitars, and you can tell by uh, one of the ways you can tell what you're dealing with is if you tighten the truss rod and you come back and you get it fairly straight and you come back the next day and it's bowed again, and then you tighten it again, and then come back the next day and it's bowed again, and then you notice that you're getting extra threads every time you do it coming out the nut. Basically, what's happening is that wood is super punky and the anchor was underpowered. And what's happening is you're just dragging the truss rod through the neck. And what you can do, or what I've done, you can go back to my Instagram and check it out. but you can cut a section out where the uh, truss rod is lurking at. I've even removed the fingerboard extension on Les Pauls and gotten it pretty clean that way. But I've seen people get really crafty just removing a section, and then you go in and you tap in a new larger anchor and tap the rod back in and put a anchor reinforcement in there, and it usually makes them good to go after that. I've never had one fail after that. Probably wouldn't hold one turn because it was probably at the end of the threads. I mean, if it was that, I mean, there's a million ways of truss rod, or not a million ways, but there's a few ways that truss rods can fail. Oh, he did, Corey. That's funny. Yeah, I wonder if I mean that has to be you know it has to be pretty galling to a lot of longtime Gibson customers. I mean, that would. I mean, I'm not a collector, so I don't know. But if I had a lot of Gibsons and I just, you know, whatever I could get from them on Craigslist just took a tumble, I think it'd be pretty hot. But whatever. They're desperate. I mean, how much longer are the boomers going to be around and buying Gibsons? They're desperate for the next generation at this point. So maybe burning those bridges. You know. Plus, there's a lot of guys that are just going to suck it up, and Gibson's a Gibson, and now they're excited because they can buy it. They can buy twice as many. I did. I've been spitting all over it, man. Not horrible. Well, that bridge was cut in quite a ways. I must have put a lot of extra finish on here just to support that sunburst. Yeah, Corey, I gotta say, Gibson's really, I mean, everything they've done to try to reel it back in from Henry's reign has been misstep after misstep. That play authentic thing was, I don't, that was just embarrassing to watch. I don't know who gets to stay in control of a company after something like that. Yeah, Harpo, I've seen some of the they were doing some 175s, and kind of that era guitar, some of the P90 guitars, and man, they were nailing the colors on them. They were really nailing the colors on them, and I was like, oh well, maybe they're fixing to kind of resurrect their brand. They were doing some 330s with some that darker brown rather than the red sunburst, and man, they were looking really good. Um, I don't know what that stuff was, but yeah, that was really weird. I mean, it was really weird to watch that video and realize that like they've gone through. I mean, it's one of those things where you see like how many steps they went through, where like the editing and the shooting and the scripting and all that, and then at no point in that where was anybody on board like going, fellas, this might come off a little aggressive, um, and they just rolled with it. Anybody see that bridge pop off there? Yeah, I don't think Mark really deserved that. That clearly looked like something like they just brought him on board, and I don't know. My guess is they were like, "Hey, Mark, we gotta like draw a line in the sand," and a bunch of guys in the sales department puffed their chests out, and next thing you know, Mark was making a regrettable video. His, kind of mea culpa video was all right. Like I just feel sorry. I feel sorry for him. I don't know. Maybe he's I don't know him personally. You know, he wears some fancier leather jackets than I would wear for myself. But I don't know. We're all trying to make a living in this weird business. The idea of authenticity in this day and age is it's I don't know. The fact that authenticity is being used as a sales pitch, I mean, is there anything more authentic than some PR guy drafting copy about guitars? I mean, come on, let's get real. Got a neck here to refret. Have you guys heard of this Stuart Johnson guy? I use the first gen StewMac tang nippers. You want to see a little trade secret here? These are the Sumac tang nippers I got when I was just a young tackle box Looth, and I've taken the spring off. Like I operate it like this. But here's a little trade secret here. See this? I don't know if you can read that. It says Klein Tools on it. Sheet metal nibbler. Take this. This actually takes apart pretty easily. You could put whatever groove that you want in there. These are about $5 on Amazon. The other thing that you can do is you can take it apart. You can actually sharpen this little cutter right here, and boy, they work a lot better when you take these to a sharpening stone. I've had these for fucking forever, and I'll just take them apart and sharpen them up. But yeah, it's lost all its springage and stuff over the time. My apologies to any of you Stumac employees that might be watching this. I love Stumac, don't get me wrong. It was a little off-putting to take that shrink tubing off of the handle and find out it was a Klein tool. Yeah. Pardon me. The pistol grip soldering pencil. I've used it. I've used that before. Um, oh wow. Oh yeah, yeah, Danny, do try it. Just do me a favor. Don't cook the oils out of your rosewood. That that soldering using the stinger. We used to call it a stinger at Gruens. It gets hot real fast. It's real tricky to refret into ebony or rosewood that have had the oils cooked out of it with aggressive soldering. Yeah, yeah, maybe even one thing is rowdy. Like zap, you're ready to go. I'm still working. You ready? What time is it? Give me till 4. I'll be ready at 4. At 4 o'clock, we're leaving the basement, man. You're gonna have to find your cat shit smell somewhere else. Up, up, up. Hey James, thanks for stopping by the stream, man. I appreciate it. Anybody that's watching, if you want to drop me a sub and smash that like button, as the young people say. I'm trying to get up to 1,000 subs so that I can use my phone to stream rather than my laptop. I think it'll look better. I think we'll get a better. I can like put it in a stand and get tighter shots. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, and it would also get us to where it's more professional looking stream in the future. Also, if you have any questions about Luthen, feel free to ask away. Now, Corey, I've built some mandolins solo. A friend of mine in Nashville, Hugh, and I built a couple A-style mandolins with the intent of building some F-style mandolins, and just didn't get. He's still building F-style mandolins, but we set up to build mandolins, and I built some mandolins on my own. But yeah, the guitar building it doesn't appeal to me. Building the few mandolins that I built didn't really help my repair skills. Actually, working in a guitar factory helped my repair skills a ton more. Just from the standpoint of handling guitars in such a way, I don't do dings like I did when I was just a young kind of not as mindful, just kind of repair guy. Like I was constantly dinging guitars and having to dig myself out of holes before I worked in a guitar factory. Just developing all that muscle memory for a ding-free environment. I mean, that right there, the guitar 3 years or 4 years at Breedlove was like, I mean, it was crazy for that. And my knife skills are through the roof as a result of Breedlove. Like I'm very handy with an X-Acto knife or a violin knife, any of the knife stuff. But yeah, if you, I mean, you know how hard it is to make money doing guitar repair. Imagine, if you had all your time back from fixing your own dings that you put in guitars. Hey, Danny, are you still in the chat? Maybe. You want to do a live stream tomorrow and I'll come in and ask you questions about what you're doing? Might be kind of fun. Do you have a YouTube channel? Yeah, how'd you like those diamond nut files, Corey? I think I'm getting a set of Grobets for my 50th birthday, so I'm holding off on the diamond ones. You ever use the Grobets? What about a what about a Danny? Why don't we do a shop tour of your shop tomorrow, and I'll post it on my I'll post it on. I'm really interested in how you're doing a small home shop, right? I'm really interested in how people lay out their small home shops and kind of make that work. You want to do a shop tour tomorrow? I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing here, but I've got the classic maple guitar neck. The finish is up on the edge of the fret. I'm heating it up with a soldering pencil, and then I'm coming back and taking my chisel and getting that finish that's now gooey from the heat from the soldering pencil off of the edge of the fret before I pull the fret. Okay, let's talk about it tomorrow. Give me give me an email or reach out to me on Instagram tomorrow, and we'll look at doing it. Uh, the Yeah, I think a lot of guys are coming to grips with doing a lot with a little bit of space right now, and kind of how people lay out their shop, and what kind of repairs they're trying to get done in their shops. I think would be pretty interesting for people, kind of like a tiny home style thing. But uh, and yeah, it might be kind of fun. Well, I'll show you how I'm doing really quick. This over here is where I like to do a lot of my laundry. In here, it's where the cats and the people are making the magic happen. Then we got some tool area over here. Danny, I think we should do it on YouTube. I mean, we could do it on Instagram, but the way Instagram Live works, I don't think it's super groovy for doing kind of interactive tour stuff like that. The split screen thing, I think it'll be fine for like uh, doing the interview with Dan stuff. But I think it would be better on YouTube. So this is kind of the start of my tool area. There's a shitty drill press that I absolutely fucking hate. There's my bandsaw. Got a grizzly thinness sander there. 12 inch. Some more stuff. This area is actually going to get. I have it in my head that I'm going to put a dust collector in here, probably right there, and have the dust collector exhaust out. I'm going to put a wall with a door right here, and just keep this as kind of the dust area. But right now it's kind of a little bit a little bit rustic. The main area here I think is halfway decent. I got two benches going, so I can work on a couple things at the same time. So not quite ready to have customers down in the area. I kind of worry about that a little bit. Oh, I noticed that my the people really dropped off when I was showing them the cat box full of cat shit. It's a home shop though. That was your favorite part? Everybody loves a good cat shitter, man. Well, New Jersey, I'm not sure what Buzzy's planning, but New Jersey, it looks like we're shut down till probably June 1st is what it looks like. So we got another month to go. Hey Sam, Sam, how bored are you? Are you pretty bored? You're pretty dang bored. How would you like to help me start a media empire? No, maybe not a media empire so much as help me do some YouTube videos. You seem to have a real some real Rachel Ray shit there. So I just did a live stream today, and it occurred to me during the live stream I could be doing tips while I'm working or whatever, and it would be cool to get somebody that knew the video editing to kind of pare down this gargantuan 3 hour thing into some little bite sized stuff for you know for little videos, little tip videos. Maybe add some music to it, maybe some Stairway to Alabama and whatnot. You making any progress on that? It's a tough nut. It's a tough nut to crack, that Stairway to Alabama. Danny, are you a video editor? How are your photoshopping skills? Computer illiterate. I don't even know what that means anymore. You're on a computer. You're on the YouTube. Computer illiterate. I don't even. Does that mean you can't hack into the mainframe or something? Oh shit. Well, I mean, come on. If you can figure out how to make a graphing calculator and get YouTube, I mean, that's hacking into the mainframe as far as I'm concerned. Shit. What are you, a GIMP guy, Danny? Oh shit. I've been burying the lead here. Uh, so, Sam, I'm going to stop this stream here in a couple minutes. There's footage of me on here making one of my glue up calls for when I do hide glue on uh, on this Goodall over here. Can you see if can you go back through this stream and see if there's usable footage for doing a little how-to video based on me building that up? I kind of it's a shit camera on this laptop, but it might be interesting just to kind of do a dry run on it and see if you know like super get see if there's anything usable on it or maybe how I could change how I do things to get some usable stuff. Are you interested in doing something like that? So it sounds like a lot of work. I don't know if it might be a big ask, as they say. Okay. Maybe you could, like, we can cross pollinate our YouTube channels pretty good. Maybe get some traction on some of your music stuff that I'm liking quite a bit. Your King of the Hill thing was fucking awesome, man. Especially, I don't know why you keep soup in your refrigerator, but we'll talk about that later too. Everybody that joined the stream, thanks for checking it out. Keep the rubber side down. Yeah, Danny, you and I are going to cross streams too. So, I forget. Were you out at one of the dance things when I was still drinking? Did we have fun drinking together? I can't remember. I'm going to assume we did because I can't remember. Anyway, have a good day.